Thank you, operator. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's Connect with Remedy webinar. Today's topic is BMC Remedy 9.1, Service Pack 3, and SmartIT 1.6. We actually have three presenters today, the first being Rahul, Vedak, Lead Product Manager, Pradeep, Kumar, also Lead Product Manager, and John Hall, Principal Product Manager. Let's get started. Over to you, Rahul.
Hey, thanks, Steve. And can you confirm you can hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, so quick agenda as Steve outlined. We'll start with the Remedy 9.1 SP3 release that went out roughly 2 weeks back. We'll cover platform enhancement, ITSM. We'll also talk about CMDB, Smart Reporting, Remedy Assessor. And then we'll have SmartIT 1.6 release, what's new in the release. Also, we'll have John, will actually do the live demonstration of the new product here. So let me get started with what changed in different platform and the apps, the AR platform, CMDB, Smart Reporting, Remedy applications, and Remedy Assessor. To begin with, we will talk about a few install and upgrade improvements. While the amount of changes in this area for SP3 are limited, when you remember the Service Pack 2 changes, where we done significant changes in the install improvement, this time for install upgrade improvement has been to enable faster installs or upgrade. So the first one in the list is quicker installation on secondary servers in server group deployment for AR and CMDB. And probably you have heard about this in a similar change that we had in the previous release for ITSM apps. So what this change is all about? So AR system installer account is today used for secondary server installation. If we use the same mechanism and allow parallel upgrade, then we'll have a situation that one of the server in the server group might complete the installation and then remove the install account. So other parallel installations will fail. So we have changed our this secondary server installation thing to remove this dependency on this installer account. And as a result, you can actually upgrade all of the secondary servers in parallel. So if you have 5 secondary servers, and you can start the upgrade or an installation on all of these in parallel. So effectively, it's going to reduce the time it takes for the installer upgrade. The other enhancement for ITSM application installation is the multi-phase installation. So today, one of the challenge customers share with us is actual upgrade time for Remedy application upgrade. Since Remedy ITSM is considered the tier 1 application in most of the enterprises, they expect this application to be available 24/7. So they don't want a situation of Remedy not available for few hours during upgrade. So now while there are different upgrade methods like the stage or the parallel upgrade, customers still want the simple, straightforward upgrade option, which is also faster. So with SP3, we are splitting this overall ITSM installation activities in 2 phases. And I have a slide to kind of outline what these 2 phases and what these activities. So phase 1 essentially include all activities that doesn't require a downtime, and these can be completed while the apps are still running. So users are able to access application, they can create incident, view changes, and so on. What will happen in the phase 1 is, we will collect user input, validation, we'll also run configuration checker, and then there is, the pre-install or, the preparation phase will be complete outside of your production downtime window. Phase 2 activities is where, there is a downtime of the application, and this will include all other tasks of actually, the install upgrade happening there. Now, there are, details that you can see here, what we are doing specifically in each phase. In a sense, to connect these phases, we also generate a property file. And when you're done with your phase 1, this property file is generated. And when you start the phase 2, maybe you decide to do the phase 2 of upgrade next weekend, that's when this property file is referred, and it will start from that point. It is not going to ask for all the input from the user again. So that's in summary what the two-phase upgrade is. To make it even more explicit here, so traditional installer is like this is what the time you'd spend, and that's going to be equivalent to, let's say, your downtime window. But with phase 2 installation, you are performing some of the the activities beforehand, the phase 1 activities, and that's where you will have some saving in your downtime for ITSM application upgrade. Now, one important thing to note here is the first one, this two-phase installation is applicable for ITSM apps, including SRM and SLM. But this is not applicable for AR and CMDB. And second most important one, this multi-phase installation is purely optional thing. So by default, you will have the same experience that you have been having in the past ITSM upgrade. So you can take the same installer, run it in the traditional fashion, nothing changes. Only if you want to follow this two-phase method of upgrade, you take the same installer and actually pass some of the additional command line parameters so that instead of running it in the traditional format, it will follow the two-phase method of upgrade for ITSM application. For specifics of the command line parameters, you can check documentation as what you need to pass some of the details there. The last one in this install upgrade area is the multi-tenancy utility related change. So multi-tenancy utility today gets kicked off as part of the ITSM installer. But ITSM installation is not complete till this the multi-tenancy utility is completed. Mostly ITSM installation and multi-tenancy are fairly independent processes with very few dependencies. So we are actually splitting these two processes. So as soon as ITSM installation is finished in SP3, it will signal that this installation is complete, and then the multi-tenancy utility can keep running in the backend for all the data changes it needs to do. Since ITSM installation is complete, you can initiate your SRM and SLM installer upgrade without waiting for this whole multi-tenancy utility changes to finish. So again, effectively what we are trying to do here is reducing the outage window for remedy upgrade. So we talked about install and upgrade changes. Let's talk about user-facing features here. With SP3, we are updating a technology component that drives rich text formatting or the RTF in remedy. The previous technology that we used for RTF was from Yahoo, which actually doesn't have a whole lot of traction or updates today. Also, some of you reported issues with this technology, which we found hard to support without much active community around this from Yahoo. So we have now a new technology, CK Editor, that we are using for RTF. But again, this is not really a net new technology for remedy because SmartIT is using this CK Editor technology since the first release. So this new RTF editor has few areas where it differentiates from the earlier technology, like some controls around image formatting, or the new find and replace feature, or enhanced spell checker, or the bookmarking of the text and so on. This RTF capability is available for knowledge management, SRM, or even if you have a custom AR application, you'll be able to use this after SP3 upgrade. Okay, so when we talk about CMDB and SP3 release, I know many of you would applaud when you see the first bullet, the Pentaho upgrade. Yes, we have finally delivered the highest rated idea of a CMDB with SP3, which was about upgrading Pentaho platform. So it's upgraded from its initial version 4.1 to the new one, the latest stable release from Pentaho, which is Pentaho 6. This upgrade also helps us eliminate issues related to the growing list of vulnerabilities with Pentaho, including the cross-site scripting issues that many of us are aware. Also, this Pentaho 4.1 is not actively supported by Pentaho community. So there are quite a few of changes between Pentaho from the 4.1 to 6. You can explore what's new in these Pentaho upgrade as well as the bug fixes from their community. But for sure, we have one great improvement in this area, which is AR Assert or step plugin. So today for AR form, there is no way to check whether a target form has a record, which has not changed since the last job run. So unless you write some complex transformation in Spoon, the only way it works is bringing all the record and process it all again, which is a suboptimal experience. To solve this issue, we have added checksum support to AR output step plugin. So this is how it works in summary. So whenever it sees a new record, it will insert it with a checksum for it. And when the next time it is updating the record, it will verify the checksum for that for the record. And if it finds there is a difference in the checksum, it will update the record. If not, it will just go to the next record to fetch that and decide whether it needs to update in the system. The last on the CMDB side is, or probably the second on the CMDB is, the CDM change. A new class, BMC underscore cloud instance, is added with BMC element class as its parent class to primarily support, the cloud discovery. This class represents, the internal or external services consumed by cloud providers. For example, you'll have Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure. So effectively, you can represent these services in your infrastructure and service model using this new BMC Cloud Instance class. There is also a change to CMDB REST APIs. So some of the RPC calls, remote procedure calls based on APIs are exposed to REST to reduce the hybrid deployment complexity and make the integration with CMDB easier. Okay, so I have a few announcements to talk about, the UDM. So the first one here is, the create-only, distinguishing the create-only templates in the UI. This is more of a UI usability issue where there is some of the forms only support create and not update, and this causes confusion with users since there is no easy way to distinguish between job template that support create-only versus others who support create and update both. So with SP3 release, system clearly indicates job template that only support create. As an example on the screen, incident transaction template is visible here, and when you select the template, a new column to the extreme right is shown, which shows the create only flag. Now, in this particular example, all support create only, but for other forms, let's say the people form, you can see different flag because it also supports in the update here. Another one in area of UDM, again, the UI usability issue that we've addressed is bulk cancel or delete. So today, users need to select each record and one by one update or one by one select the job record and then cancel or delete it. In other words, there is no provision in UDM console for bulk operation. So we have added this capability in UDM console to multi-select rows in UDM UI for bulk cancel and delete. So while we've added this feature, we have also have a safety net built to added to this. So even if you might have selected multiple rows in UI, for a delete operation, only jobs which are either complete or cancel are the ones which will get deleted. Similarly, when we are trying to cancel, it will only consider jobs that are in progress, draft, or built. Okay. Other one is, this cleanup of data for jobs. So we are updating application preferences system record in this with the release. We are reducing the values of all parameters for data retention. So if you look at it, one of the parameters is, keep promoted staging record for 14 days, the existing or, pre-SP3, and now we are bringing it down to, 7 days. So why this is important and how it impacts you, by deleting these records earlier, we are sure to improve performance of UDM jobs because system does a lot of lookup, especially in the validation step. And by reducing the number of records to be looked up, performance of the UDM is going to improve. So we have updated system record as shown in the table here. So for fresh install, any new account gets created will get this new setting. For existing users with application preference record, the setting will remain unchanged and only system record will be updated for the upgrade scenario. You can change this setting for existing user accounts manually. The other one is, for stuck job. This is, we have added, better error handling here. So sometimes a job is stuck in, the load or even the promote step. And what happens in the backend for load step is workflow tries to trigger spoon transformation to import data. Now, if this plugin fails to create a record for, whatever reason, workflow indefinitely waits, and from user perspective, the job is in, the stuck mode. So what we have implemented in SP3 is a better error handling. So when error occurs during the trigger of transformation, it will bring back the error and show it in the load step. I just have one example here to show how it will work with SP3. And the other one here is LDAP people import related update. So this is actually using the latest the AR upsert that we talked a few slides back. As we are doing the Pentaho upgrade, we also added the new step plugin, and this is exactly what you're using in the LDAP people import. So today, customers sync their LDAP data with ITSM every day or few times a week or maybe every week. But whenever they do this people import, the underneath transaction brings all the people data of say 50,000 users, and it doesn't just get those 100 user record. Those were added or updated since last job run. So effectively, UDM is doing a lot of unnecessary processing, and two, also this approach of loading people data every time leads to increased chances of errors in UDM processing. So what we have changed is we are using this new AR upsert plugin, which also include the checksum. So effectively, with this AR upsert plugin implementation for LDAP, only the data, people data or updated people records from the LDAP are the one which will get to staging form for further processing. And the last update I have here without a slide is more about the configuration, best practice configuration setting for CI plugin. So BMC does recommend few best practice configuration setting for CI plugin in our documentation. But when we were assisting customers with different UDM issues, we often discovered that customers have not configured these recommended values. To ensure that these best practice configuration settings are followed, we are making two changes. One, for fresh install, we are making these values as default setting, and second one, so this will in the first one itself, for the fresh install, it will save administrators from explicitly going in the system and change it after installation is complete. And two, for upgrade, while we will not modify these settings automatically, we are showing these values as part of the configuration checker. So in a sense, configuration checker report will show discrepancy between recommended setting versus what is configured in custom environment, and remedy administrators can then go and change those settings. So those were a couple of enhancements in area of UDM. Quickly talking about Remedy Assessor, for some of you were using Remedy Assessor, we introduced Remedy Assessor almost like a year and a half back, and we have many of you already using Remedy Assessor for offering the single sign-on experience to the end users. In this release, we have localized login pages, the end user facing content in different languages, and these 10 languages are the one that we support for Remedy application as well. And another quick update on the RSS is, as you know, Remedy Assessor is not only used for Remedy ITSM, SmartIT, MyIT product, but also for other products like the BMC, ATM Orchestrator, and also for Discovery. And also we are actively working on getting other products added to Remedy Assessor experience. So BAO 7.9 and Discovery 11.1 release also support Remedy Assessor integration. With that, I'm going to change gears and now talk about smart reporting related enhancement that we have in this release. Okay, so one of the biggest one in this release is our technology update for smart reporting. So we have a top-rated idea in smart reporting community, which was updating this technology, and we are happy to update it to the latest available version of the OEM technology here. This upgrade itself gives us access to many of the features, and some of these features are related to the UX enhancement. So there is a new navigation panel available with the upgrade. So instead of the top button navigation, we also have a left panel based navigation here, where you can see all of the content from a flyout menu on the left. Now the question is, when you're upgrading, is it going to be changed the entire behavior? For upgrade customers, they can in fact by default will be continuing with their the top based navigation as they had with 9.1 SP2 or previous releases. There is a provision in the administrator console to switch to the new the layout that you see here, but default experience will not change when you upgrade. For the fresh install, this is what they will see. They will get the left panel based navigation for smart reporting. Another quick announcement to note here is there is a floating add button here. So now if you want to add any content based on your permission, if you want to add a report dashboard, you want to add any storyboard, you want to start a discussion, you can do that with this floating plus button. Just go and click the any interaction that you want to start with, and you don't have to navigate to create, or you don't have to go to dashboard to add any new content. So that's another UX improvement that we have with the new upgrade. The third one is about the content, the way we are used to seeing the content in smart reporting, which was tabular view. So while that exists, there is quick filters which are added in smart reporting on the left panel. So if you want to look all the content, that's the default one. But if you want to just focus on the content in the draft, you can get it in a single click. Similarly, you can see the favorite content that you have bookmarked there. You can see all of those here. And then you have this other content like in the folder, or the structured content that you want to see. It's always available in the folder structure. There is another way to look at this smart reporting content, which is which is a icon list we have here. Hey John, sorry, your line is open. Yeah. The other announcement in terms of when you're creating content is this new content creation canvas. So what you do is when you're creating a report with multiple charts, you have a new content creation canvas you can see. This canvas has a lot of flexibility in terms of creating the charts or aligning those. You can have a kind of fairly big grid available there. You can snap the objects to the grid. You can define the size of those chart. You can define the placement of the chart precisely using the new canvas thing. Also, you can along with the content, the chart itself, you have some text available that you can text formatting available for quickly adding text and sizing it, etc. There is a fairly extensive icon library which is also available in the tool itself that you can use for even better charting here. Another one capability that we have with Smart Reporting SP3 is forecasting and the trend analysis. So when you're looking at some of the data for over multiple quarters or months, you want some of the capability of the predictive analytics where you can using the historical record, the trend, you want to be able to forecast what the future will look like based on the past data. So Smart Reporting now has this capability for forecasting some of the data based on, particularly for the trend data, where you can use multiple statistical function like, the single, double, or triple exponential smoothing to predict what your, the future trend will look like. Similarly, if you're interested in, finding the trend for the existing data, you can have, you can use the trend lines with, again, multiple statistical function like the moving average or the different linear or polynomial regression for looking at that data. And there are also other statistical function like the average or set analysis, which are also available at a click of a button for the trend charts here. And one thing to note on that one is for all the trend chart that we provide as the box content, for example, there's a trend chart for instant, another one for change. We have added this forecasting capability by default in all of those reports. This one is again an interesting one where what happens is some of the report takes a little longer to run, and as a user, when you're looking at it, you don't know what to do, whether I should wait for it or I should cancel it if it's going to take time. So with Smart Reporting has a new feature here where by default it will kind of after 5 seconds it will pop up a window here and will ask user how do they want to interact with this long running report. The default option is wait, where the user can wait, but if he's has other tasks, he can actually say system that email this report to me, or add this report to my timeline, or just cancel this report. I can come later and check for this report. So that just kind of takes out the anxiety with user about how should I interact with this the long running report. And so you're talking about the content here. We have added some content in Smart Reporting. So we have added a bunch of reports and dashboard for release management, which is also our theme for SmartIT 1.6 that we'll talk soon. So we have added content relevant for release management with SP3. Similarly, we have added new KPIs in Smart Reporting. We have added KPIs for incident and work order. For those of you who are not very familiar with the KPI, KPIs in Smart Reporting is the summary data which we snapshot say every day, and that's available for quick analysis without going to the live system and kind of scanning all maybe 100,000 or million incident records that you have in the system. So we have added multiple of those KPIs for incident work order in this release. We have added few knowledge management reports. For example, some of the commonly requested one are which are the top search keyword in the system, or which are the keyword that users are trying to find some information in the system. It doesn't show any results. So those are the things that we have added in the report to make knowledge management more effective. And we have added another one, very interesting one for CMDB. So often we have, this use case of looking at a business service and, understanding all the infrastructure that supports a business service. And, this is, shown in SmartIT and, the Ethereum Explorer, but there is no offline way to look at this data. So if I want to look at a report which shows me this is my business service and this is the infrastructure that supports my business service, it requires a significant effort to create that semantic view in the backend. So what we have done with this release of Smart Reporting is we have provided a new semantic view which shows you 5 different levels of the CI hierarchy, and we have also provided one sample report that you can give you idea of how to use this new CMDB semantic view. So by using this report, essentially you can see what is my the top level, let's say the business service, and all the different another 4 levels of configuration item which support my business service. And you can, while we have provided 5 levels, you can make it 7 levels or 3 levels by customizing this CMDB semantic view. And another one is on the improving the AR-JDBC layer. So as you know, the way Smart Reporting interacts with the backend data is using AR-JDBC layer. And what we are doing with this release of Smart Reporting is we have added 2 sort of capabilities. One is for the calculated field. For example, we have the aggregate list function. We have some formatting for the dates that we are providing out of the box, like displaying the first day of the month, quarter, year, etc., or some of the string manipulation that you would typically use when you have large text in some of the fields. So those are some additional calculated field functions that we are providing, and the biggest one here is SubQuery. So many of you who started with Smart Reporting shared this view that we need SubQuery capabilities so that we can create some of the complex reports that we are today using in analytics, or which are some of the commonly used report that you have. So with this release, we are actually making available this SubQuery capabilities in Smart Reporting in the AR-JDBC layer, which will enable you to combine data from separate semantic views. Like the problem management is one view, incident is another view. Without combining those tables, you can have at the runtime you can have a subquery which can get data across these semantic views. So that's kind of the summary of what we are able to do with Smart Reporting. And the last one here is again one of the recurring asks from the users is, how do we take some of the Smart Reporting content, right, the dashboard or a report, and embed it in the third-party portal? So customers use SharePoint, they have internet portal, they have service management portal, they have monitoring solution. That's where they want to embed some of this Smart Reporting content, but that wasn't possible before SP3. With SP3, we are offering a fully interactive experience for embedded view where you can plug in this report URL in the external portal. Of course, you have to make some changes to the report configuration to make it public so that anyone can access the underlying data. But once you embed that view into external portal, you have a good interactive experience where you can not only see that chart and data, but also you interact with that chart for drill down, or if you want to flip between the chart and data, you can do that. Or if you want to download that from that third-party portal, the the data for that in different format, that's also available. So that was a quick overview of the ITSM application, AR, CMDB, Smart Reporting, RSS, of what we have done. I'm going to hand it over to Pradeep, who's going to walk us through SmartIT 1.6, what changes we have done, and then we'll have John who will do a live system demo. So Pradeep, over to you.
Thanks, Rahul. Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Thanks. And Preen, are you able to see SmartIT 1.6, right? Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So thanks everyone for joining. I'm really excited today to share with you this new set of capabilities in SmartIT, and I'm just delighted to be here to talk to you about everything that we have delivered in this release. Before I go there, I just want to make sure that with respect to SP3 and SmartIT, this release, the number one focus has been quality, quality, quality. So there has been tremendous set of improvements throughout the applications to make it much, much more robust set of application. And many of you participated in the beta program for SmartIT 1.6, which was due in, the beta was around in Feb. We took another 3 months of time based on the feedback and number of things that were happening around SmartIT as well as on Remedy side. And we have tremendous focus that went into it. So I'm really excited for this release, and I'd like to hear from you all in terms of what's your experience like with respect to install, with your experience like upgrade, experience in the feature function capabilities. With that, let's talk about the new persona that we added in SmartIT. SmartIT 1.6 focused on release persona, all the capabilities that you need to be able to manage a release as a ticket, the interrelationship of release as a ticket with other ticket types, the life cycle of a release. So like with any other SmartIT release, we just continued on the same theme where we work with the actual end users right at the start of the process, understanding the core flows and figuring out that the set of tasks a user, a release coordinator or release manager persona has to go through and design that experience from there. So sorry about that. So basically, with that research and with our user experience folks and your participation in this process allows us to create these exciting, beautiful looking user interfaces, highly streamlined. So we have, for creating a release, we have a wizard, which is along the lines of a wizard that we have for creating a change. It's a little more simplified. It allows you to just go through the sequence of steps, and very quickly create a release. We use, we support creating a release from templates or scratch, like a change, and this was an enhancement that was added post the beta program we had. It's a 4-step guided process, and it allows you to create, add new changes or relate changes or activities. By and large, you will see many of the core capabilities that exist in the ITSM applications. We have created them here. You have ability to drag and drop some of the UI elements, like if you're dealing with a set of changes and activities, you can just drag and drop these to sequence them. You can auto-calculate risk based on the changes that are part of the release. So there are a couple changes. I would caution you, there are some changes in some areas. Some of the terminology has been renamed. So something that's been called manifest in ITSM is now called release plan. It reflects a release plan consists of a set of changes and activities that have to be done for that milestone of the release. So really excited about the UI part of it. I think it's been really very well received. We heard from many of you during the beta program, and post-beta program, we have enhanced the quality piece of it, specifically, all the customer uptake issues that we have seen. The number of customers that are uptaking or going through SmartIT deployment is just huge. It's one of the sort of most exciting area within Remedy right now, and given that feedback, we were able to accommodate so many of your items, ideas into the product. So that's been phenomenal. You have ability to drag and drop documents. If you're attaching documents to a release, you can do that. All around SmartIT, right? So as you know, we support full function app, mobile apps. So, all around SmartIT and on the dashboard, for the activity feed, all these important updates that are reflected, those are available. So, on the dashboard, activity feed, you will see those. You can drag and drop changes, activities. You can use global search for releases and activities. So across the application, the completely adding these 2 new ticket types, basically what it would mean. So, you can then, for approvals, can go through approvals on mobile or approvals on UC. You can add ad hoc approvals. You can have e-signatures for regulatory environments. So, in general, using some of the same design constructs that's been extremely well received by many of our customers is we have just enhanced for the release persona and the release and activity ticket types. So collaboration, right? That's kind of the power of the UI that allows users to get things done in much quicker fashion. So you can share a release by email, use your accelerators that work for other ticket types. You can receive notifications on the mobile devices. You have activity timeline on the mobile, preview of release via chat window. So that's the assign to me button. That's one quick assign to me. So that's also supported for release. So let's just take a moment here and just understand the release object for those of us who are not very familiar with it. So a release consists of release plan, and that release plan, a release has a set of milestones, right? Initiate, planning, build, test, deployment, close down. Those are the sort of the most common definition of a release. And each milestone can have a release plan, which is the set of change requests and activities that are to be carried out for that specific milestone. And then you can further break it down where each of the change requests or activity may have more than one task. So you can define which specific employee or user is supposed to complete that task, which is part of a change request, which ultimately is associated as part of the release plan for a specific milestone. So that's kind of the hierarchical structure of a release. So within SmartIT, you can see all, by milestone for a release, what are the change requests and activities, and by the way, what change in our activities and what are those tasks. You can sequence them, drag and drop them, all of those. Once again, using mobile or UC, you can manage the life cycle of the activity, which is part of the release plan, right? So this is, you have this notion about activity being a work that needs to be done for that specific milestone. You can define the activity. You can manage the complete life cycle of that activity. Again, that activity can have multiple tasks, so you could, you can break that further down and assign specific people to each of the tasks. And again, if there are a sequence of things that needs to be done, use drag and drop to sequence. Relating a ticket type to a release, so that's an important concept within the ITSM space. And so you can, other ticket types when you are on an asset record, a change record, if you want to relate, all of those relationships are supported. So there are two parts to it, right? That there is a change request, which is part of the release plan for a specific milestone, so that you can come in from different ways, or you can be, it's just related to this, right? So there are two types of relationship that are there. There's a member of relationship, and there is a related to the relationship. So both of those flows are supported. So you are sitting on a release, and you look for other sort of ticket types. You can find them and relate it to the release. That is one flow, one way you can get there. The other way is you are on another record, you are on an incident, and you want to relate it to a release. And you can start with the incident and relate, and then we have enhanced those current tickets UIs where you now have release available as an option. One other exciting set of capabilities that we have continued to progress with SmartIT is this integration with client management, BMC client management, where previously in 1.5, SmartIT 1.5, we had some out-of-the-box integration and then some actions which allows the service desk agent to directly execute actions while sitting in a SmartIT interface, right? So it helps them get much more efficient in resolving those issues. We have further added capabilities into that. So with SmartIT 1.6, you know that client management, BMC client management at least have set of alerts that that you can configure that if an XYZ event is happening, if the system is running out of disk space, the endpoint client application is running out of memory or any important event, you can define a set of configurable rules. You can trap them as an event, and that event you can set rules to say that, hey, if so-and-so such thing happened, then create an event, create an incident which is available in SmartIT. So through the backend services, this integration is available now where, some system event happens on the client, and we create an incident automatically in Remedy that is available to be worked with SmartIT. And then there is a set of enhancement there, your auto assignment rules, they kick in, so the ticket can be assigned. All other than ticket management capability that are available. And this allows the service desk to be a lot more proactive, right? Even without the user knowing of a situation, suppose they are missing the latest antivirus software and they are, using the company provided machine. Without that, the system can detect it, and if there are issues, challenges, automatically creates an incident that the service desk now knows about it, will manage it, will come back to the user, say, we found this issue, we have this incident that we're working with, I think this is how we're going to resolve it. So this is an example of how this works. If you can see here, you in the client management application, you configure the set of rules or alerts, and those alerts create an incident like this. We have enhanced the user interface to designate that incident to show that it is an auto-created incident, and again, then the rest of our incident management capability kicks in. So just to recap here, I know it's been a sort of journey with SmartIT, and this was, by the way, SmartIT 1.6 is the 10th release that for SmartIT, and we have seen tremendous set of feedback and uptake from our customers. Almost a third of our customer base is presently working with SmartIT. That's huge. That's phenomenal uptake. So we're really proud of it. Obviously we are continuing to enhance it. This is sort of the persona, and if you see, we have, with the release manager, release coordinator persona, we're roughly getting there with respect to the ITSM personas, and as in this journey, we have also delivered some of the unique personas that do not exist in ITSM. So, some of the compliance coordinator, the KCS roles. So it is much, much richer, better way of getting things done with Remedy. With that, I'm going to hand it over to John Hall to show us this SmartIT in action.
Hi there. Thank you very much, Pradeep. Great.
Go ahead,
I'm just going to. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Let's share my browser and get going. We're not going to be demoing everything that you've just seen. This is a relatively concise walkthrough of some of the key things you've seen. Obviously, if there's anything else you'd like to drill into, please contact one of us or contact your account representative or whoever you need to speak with, because that way we should be able to arrange a more detailed drill down. You're looking now at SmartIT 1.6. So when we come to the Create New menu, one of the obvious differences now is that we have the option to create a release. And if you've used the change management functionality, you might well see that this looks fairly similar. You have the option either to use a template or create from scratch. As you see, I've searched for, if I search some existing templates, I can preview them over here. So if I select this, this will be, this lets me preview one or more templates. Let's narrow that search a little bit. Let's widen that search. I can step through these and preview them one by one, and then when I've found the one I want, I can select that. And this just preloads these fields. Other than that, it's pretty much the same process for creation, at least, as it is to walk through from scratch. Can I very quickly verify that my screen is showing?
Yes, it is, John.
Thank you.
Yes, I can, yeah.
Yep. Now, we talked about a four-point system, a four-point wizard. Again, this is quite similar to the change management process, and the idea here is to really deliver two major benefits. One is to make it extremely fast to create a release record. It's something that certainly the SmartIT UX has done for change management, and the same principle applies here. And so the layout is nice and simple and intuitive. We have, the ability, of course, to quickly search for specific three-level categories, and it's just very straightforward to complete all these details. Then we come to the release plan tab, and this is where things start looking really nice, because this is where we can actually create the different phases, the different milestones of this release, and start to populate them with existing change requests. So it's very straightforward to start looking for change request tickets. I can search for them here, or I can create them. I can also create activities, and I can do that from templates. So if I want to, I can search for existing template activities, and that gives me the ability to start to create those. As I do that, they will start to appear in my session over here. So it's as we see, it's a really nice, straightforward thing to use here. It's very much intuitive. It's also running a little slow on this demo. The cursor of the demo, I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see what's going on. I can also create a blank activity, give it its priority, and I can do things like schedule it, create a date schedule, and save that ticket. So we've obviously got something that's gone a little funny since I loaded this environment. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come to the ticket console and look at some existing releases and show you the interface on there. So these are some existing open releases. If I come into one of these, then we can actually start to sort of see see the release plan of an existing release. And this is an example where we have different things going on in different milestones. In this case, we've got some change requests and some activities. So let's take a look at an activity, for example. This is where we can actually now manage the assignment of that activity. We can add tasks to that activity. And again, we can do that from a template and either create task groups or individual tasks. So I'm going to add a task group. And in they go. And now I can actually, if I start adding more tasks, we can start working on the flow and really just planning out all the various intricacies of this release plan. It's very easy to move things in order. That's just by dragging and dropping, as you see, or by manually changing the sequence numbers. And so I have a really powerful set of tools there to give me that ability to manage and deal with that release. Okay, one of the things I can now do, I'm going to come back out of this activity record by saving it. Let's go back. And we can also then drag things, even, as you saw, I was dragging things around within a single activity, but we can also, in a similar way, drag and drop the changes from one phase to another, or change the order of them. And so it's very, very straightforward to really lay out that release plan and really do a lot of the planning as we go. Right. One of the things I also wanted to show you was the fact that this is also, we also have a mobile interface for this. So let me just quickly share one other application, which we use QuickTime for nice straightforward live demos. So I'm going to now I'm going to go and look for releases on this console. And as you see, I can just filter down. I'm going to filter down just to releases, so hopefully we can find the same record. As you can probably tell, I was hoping just to create one from scratch, but not quite sure why that wasn't happening. But again, with the mobile interface to release, the important thing to be aware of, it doesn't have all the functionality for editing the release, but it certainly has plenty of scope for participating in the release. And so I can actually go to the release plan. I can engage with these various things. So I can open up that change and work on that change if I wanted to. So it's very easy to do that. It's by clicking on it, of course. And I can come back. Of course, maybe I may need to approve that change as part of my as part of this process, or approve a release, and we can do both of those things on mobile. I can also, of course, participate in the whole team collaboration around this. A big part of the benefit of SmartIT to all of these records, and it's very, very relevant to release because release is such a team sport. I'm able on mobile, of course, just as I am on the universal client, on the browser client, to participate in that social activity on the release. So it's a pretty powerful set of tools between mobile and browser to perform release management in the SmartIT system. So yeah, apologies. Not quite sure why that wasn't working there, but it was one of those things where it works just for the demo. But I mean, at least you're able to see. There must be some glitch in our demo environment here, but at least you've been able to see me do the key things on an existing release. The other thing I wanted to show you is some of the things that are now being added in the reports, the new smart report that Rahul talked about. So yeah, I encourage you to get in and explore this release management capabilities. If you have any questions, come back to us. Now I'm actually going to switch context slightly, and I'm going to come to smart reporting. So as you've seen, smart reporting gets a big revamp. I'm just going to move straight onto the browse reports here. And there's a couple of really interesting new features in this. What I'm first going to do, I'm going to come to a report here called Change Submission Trend. And when I open this, you'll see this is effectively a line chart showing the kind of cadence of changes that are being submitted. So the sort of spikes and trends in that process. just give that a moment to open. So what we then have is this nice line chart, and you obviously this may be something you're a little familiar with, with the preview down below, and now that we can narrow down to an existing period. But what I want to look at the entire period, because there's a couple of nice things that are now being added here. If I come on and click on this forward trend line, we start getting some of this predictive data. It's telling me that the number of changes is forecast to go up, and it gives me a little bit of the kind of the raw statistics that are behind those things. But really, the headline, is that things are intended to go up. If I come and edit this chart, so this has just got to create a draft version of the chart. Now I've clicked edit, so this takes a few seconds. We can actually see some of the other functions that are available to us. And now, for example, if I wanted to show the accumulation, so as you see, we have the graph currently shows the sort of the number per day. It's a measure of spikes in incoming records. But if I add this accumulation line, we start getting a plot of the gradual buildup of those records, so the speed at which they ramp up. So as you can imagine, it's redrawn the scale appropriately for that line. And it, as you see where we have a spike, albeit the scale a little different, but where we have a spike, it kicks up and shows me that kind of trend over time of accumulation. So I can correlate spikes with the kind of overall level of total things that have been raised. Another good example is this trend line. I'm going to add that as well. And that gives a smoother plot of the overall trend. So I can now, with that, I'm ironing out the spikes, but getting an idea of the kind of, the general flow of incoming things, so more of a moving average. And then, there's a set of other things as well. It gives us that ability to do much more in-depth statistical analysis using smart reporting and predictive behaviors. And obviously, I've done this in a fairly crude way with a report full of test data, but when we've played with this with real data sets, it's absolutely something that a lot of service desks I work with, a lot of support organizations that we've all seen are really crying out for. Right now they often do a lot of work exporting stuff into Excel, and you have some poor person whose job it is to kind of produce those reports on a regular basis, who could be doing some really cool stuff, but they're doing a lot of legwork, and now I think those sort of very clever report people are going to have really great tools at their disposal. But they're also, this stuff's available for everybody to use because it's there in smart reporting. So I think we should see a lot more ability to create dashboards, create really useful, repeatable insights without people having to export data into other tools to do them. That's the reality. Okay, let's close that one. No, I'm not going to activate that specifically. And what I'm going to do is now show you the CMDB flattening capabilities that Rahul was talking about. And again, this is something that I think is going to be really, really valuable. I'll talk about some of the things I'm going to be working with some of the customers I work with on asset management in a moment. But I'm just going to create the report, and we're going to go to the CMDB data set that has been created for this. So the CI hierarchy. What's nice here now is we see we have our parent CIs, but we also have this, as Rahul talked about, this ability to drill down into multiple levels. So firstly, what I'm going to do, because we're working with a fair amount of data, let's make sure we're filtering early here, so we're not. I don't want to swamp this with big queries. It takes a little moment for this to wake up sometimes. Or probably just for me. There we go. So I'm going to specify a single CI here, which I prepared earlier. So now we've got that filter in place. I'm going to start adding some data to this report. Let's give this a moment. It shouldn't take long. I'm just going to put a little bit of a ceiling on things as well for the purpose of this demo. Okay, let's put the parent CI name in. That should be no surprise because I just used it in a filter, so we should just see that computer system CI that I was using. I'll put the class ID on in a moment as well to show that. Okay, there we go. These refreshes don't take too long. So now we have this computer that I was reporting on. But I'm going to start getting into the child CIs of this. So if I put on the level 1 class, what should happen, because this has got multiple child CIs associated with it, we'll start seeing the classes of those, and now by adding the names, we'll start seeing what those are. And again, I'm not really filtering anything other than top-level CIs, so this looks a little raw, but once we start, for certain use cases, you'll probably be filtering at different levels. Okay, so now we see, we've got our computer system, we've got child records, but I can keep going. I can now add an additional column for the next level down, and we're really drilling now into the structure of the CMDB, into that tree. So once I've added that CI class ID 2 and name 2, I won't go any further than that, by the way, because I think that's probably enough. But now we really start to see this hierarchy from this computer system through the next level of CI right down to, in this case, it's drilling into some software servers. As I say, this is demo data, so I'm not quite sure what's being represented there. But good examples of this, for example, I can think this is going to be popular in the software asset management world, where you kind of have to be able to understand what the underpinning infrastructure is of a piece of software that's running. If it's running on a VM, what's the physical machine? What are the CPUs underneath that? And so this gives us some really, really powerful capabilities to start exploring that hierarchy of the CMDB. I've done it in a very simple way here, but this is, as you said, we can go right down to 5 levels, starting from the top and effectively walk those paths along multiple branches to generate some very, very important data. Okay, so we wanted to keep this demo down to about 10 or 15 minutes, and as I said, I've shown you release management, and that application is really, it builds on all the work we've done with SmartIT already. I think those of you who've used SmartIT will probably find the interface and the flow is pretty familiar, but what it really adds, of course, is that ability to add multiple changes, multiple activities, and plan all those things, and to interact in that new social way around releases. So that's going to be pretty popular. It also fills in one of the final core ITSM personas that we've been aiming to bring to SmartIT. So we have a pretty comprehensive set now. And then the other thing you've seen here, of course, is the smart reporting. Some of the new tools that we get as a result of upgrading smart reporting and working with our partner who provides the technology to give us some really advanced tools right in the hands of pretty much any user. So this is a big differentiator, I think, in the market, where it's hard to get this level of sophistication in reporting in a way that's accessible to users, that takes pressure off individual reporting teams. So I hope you're liking what you're seeing, and as I've said, if you want to explore anything else on the presentations, or you want a more in-depth walkthrough of any of these capabilities, this demo is intended to sort of whet the appetite more than cover everything. So get in touch with us, and we'll happily set up a session and show you what we've got. Okay, and with that, I'm going to hand back. So is it back to you, Pradeep?
Hey, thanks, John, for a great demo here. Yeah. So very quickly, we covered a lot of things in today's session. We covered the release management UI with SmartIT. We talked about smart reporting enhancement, and also John did kind of shown some of the highlights from smart reporting SP3. We also talked about the auto ticketing from the client management, and then enhancement in the platform, CMDB, remedy apps, install, upgrade area. So before we kind of conclude the session, I just want to share some of the statistics with Remedy 9 upgrade for our customers and partners. So we are aware many of you already are using Remedy 9. There is already a great momentum with Remedy 9 among our customers, partners. We have seen a large customer base already started using Remedy 9 in their production, and you have the stats here. We have happy to share with the customers and partners here. What is really interesting is some of these customer case studies that we get, as part of this Remedy 9. So just one example of our service provider customer who went live in this quarter with Remedy 9. So this customer, this service provider is in North America region, upgraded to 9.1 Service Pack 2. That was the latest release available then. They have more than 200,000 end users, 4,000 concurrent users on an average, and they essentially are a service provider who have 400 customers in turn that they serve, and they have 120 plus servers which kind of they use for the Remedy and the other application deployment. And in terms of the size, they receive like 300,000 incidents every month, 20,000 changes per month. So that's like just to give you a scale of one of the implementation which has gone to Remedy. And if this is not enough, for us to get excited, what they also did when they went to 9.1 was they transitioned from a DB2 to SQL Server during this upgrade. So this is like one of the big achievements we did with BMC Professional Services, kind of helping the customer with the whole upgrade. And this is just one example that we wanted to quote here, but there are many such case studies with the Remedy 9 upgrade today. And reason to quote this was like the customers of a different spectrum, right? The customers, partner, service provider, small deployment, big deployment, the mega scale deployments of Remedy, they are getting to Remedy 9 as we speak. And if you're among one of those customers, partners who are in process to plan your Remedy 9, there are multiple resources at your hand to help with this whole Remedy 9 upgrade project. One of the best resources is this webinar series itself. We have had many Remedy 9 specific topics we covered, like the upgrade or the feature deep dive, what's in the whole hierarchical group new permission structure, what's in smart reporting, and we also had troubleshooting and upgrade best practices session as well. The great thing is these sessions, webinars are recorded and they are available for a replay anytime. So just want to conclude the presentation part here by saying that the Remedy 9 is where the momentum is. If you're still in the planning phase, definitely use some of these resources, and we are happy to assist you. So with that, Steve and Greg, it's back to you.
Thanks, Rahul, and thank you, Pradeep, and thank you, John. I do have a few questions to ask. We do have a hard stop at the bottom of the hour, so we'll get through as many of them as possible. You can go ahead and continue to ask questions via the Q&A section of the WebEx event. So we'll go ahead and, panelists, if you would like to answer the question, all you have to do is simply unmute your phone. So we'll go ahead and start off with the first question. Will UDM now be able to leverage the CAI pool feature where you can assign a CAI pool to UDM for it to only run in that pool?
So
probably, do we have Bunny here?
Let's go ahead and skip to the next question since we are running out of time. We'll make sure that question gets addressed in the posted Q&A section. The next question is, were there any new features to CMDB itself in Service Pack 3? I don't consider the Pataho upgrade as a new feature.
Yeah, I did try to answer it on the chat. So far in the SP3, what we presented is what we have in the set of capabilities. CMDB, we have something bigger plan for CMDB, something more visual that you'll see in the upcoming release, and that's where there is a lot of focus currently. So in SP3, here is what it is, but when we talk about the future releases, there is something that you'll see changing dramatically for CMDB.
It might be worth if that's a critical, that's something that's really important, then it's possibly worth trying to arrange a roadmap presentation with one of the product management team, because we have some some prototype mock-ups in that roadmap presentation. I mean, speaking as a long-time kind of CMDB person out in the field, I think it's going to be tremendously exciting. Really substantially update the UX for the people who run the CMDB.
Great, thank you. The next question is, will Smart Reporting 1.6 training videos be available?
Sure.
I believe there is
Smart Reporting, the versioning is, yeah. So I think there's either some confusion. So Smart Reporting, the versioning is 9.1 SP3. If you're talking about SmartIT, yes, SmartIT will be 1.6. So typically for maybe a quarter after the release is out, we'll have the curriculum updated for the version related changes. If I have to talk about Smart Reporting, you should definitely check BMC documentation, YouTube videos. They have published more than 60 videos in general for Smart Reporting, and there are plans to update it for some of the latest features that we added in SP3, like the SubQuery or some of the UI changes. So we will have definitely the education, the formal education for Smart Reporting that will get updated, but also you'll have some of those YouTube videos from the BMC Docs channel. Those will also have some of the information.
Great, thanks. Is there an out-of-the-box integration to allow publishing Smart Reporting reports in MyIT so end user can easily access the dashboard?
Yes, there are two parts to this answer. The first one is out-of-the-box integration to MyIT. It's not there, and one of the primary reason for that is Smart Reporting today is a capability which is aligned with ITSM licensing. So as we kind of reiterated it in many different forums, if you're a ITSM user or customer, you get Smart Reporting at no additional cost or license, but which also means that it is limited to ITSM users. When we talk about MyIT, that's like more mostly the end user facing the interaction. So that's where we don't have any out-of-the-box integration, but customers can build their own content in Smart Reporting, and they can expose it to third-party portal, including MyIT integration or SharePoint or the internet portal, any of those.
Excellent, thank you. Will Smart Reporting admins be able to find anyone's report now?
No, so that's not part of the SP3 release. There is announcement pending in this area, but as of SP3, that's not included.
Thank you. Can Smart Reporting Service Pack 3 be used towards an ITSM installation that is on a lower version?
No, we recommend that you have your Smart Reporting ITSM on the same version, because there's a content which gets bundled with ITSM version for Smart Reporting. So if you want to use that content, we have some changes in ITSM. So we recommend that you have the same version.
Great. Next question is, can you run ITSM 9.0 SP1 on an AR 9.1 SP3 server?
Yes, answer is yes. Our philosophy is you can have a lower version of ITSM or in apps in general, and you can have a higher version of AR platform component, like the AR and CMDB can be on SP3, and you can have ITSM on the lower version.
Great, thank you. The next question is, does SmartIT roadmap include contract management? All that SmartIT currently has is one contract seems to display as related to a CI, but if there are any changes done, for example, another contract is added, it still displays just the one contract.
Right. So let me just answer that, and I did put it in the chat also. From our point of view, for the near term for SmartIT, we are focused on UI configurability. That is an item that the team is focused on, and that's our highest priority ask, which has come in from the community. from the customer base. So that's our number one focus area. There is a whole lot of other asks that we have, so the short answer is that contract management is not in the immediate roadmap plans. My suggestion is to please post an idea or vote up an idea, existing idea on contract management in the ITSM community. That is one of the ways we gauge and the requirement, and they ask for a specific feature, especially across customer base. So please do that, and that'll help us get to the right prioritization next time around when we are here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, we just have a few minutes, and I just have 3 more questions. Let's see if we can get through them. Is there any added functionality added to 1.6 which can help with being able to do data validations and or other pieces of functionality that is lost from active links being ignored?
Right, and that's a question. That's a question about UI configurability that for many of you, we know that the mid-tier interface allows us, or AR allows us to do active link space validations, and that's one of the sort of goals for UI configurability. The question is, it's a massive ask on the team, and the answer depends on what are the set of capabilities that we can deliver, right? As you see that for SmartIT, we have gone through a number of agile, quick, fast releases, and we've continued on that pace, and so that's the plan, right? I think that's the way to get there. So the end goal is to provide something which allows customers to get there, to have that sort of an equivalent functionality. That's the goal.
Great, thank you. And since we're running out of time, I'll just end with this last question. When you upgrade AR platform, does the SmartIT user experiencing patch and or main SmartIT installer need to be reinstalled?
No, I would take that. No, it is not required. If you upgrade only AR platform, SmartIT is not impacted at all. It will continue to work as it is.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Ashutosh.
All right, here are the various ways to contact BMC via communities, Facebook, Google, Twitter, and the various ways to contact technical support. As always, thank you very much for your participation and attendance. Today's recording will be posted to the BMC communities